What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another adventure here at the Outpost. In today's adventure, I'm going to be ranking every billion-dollar movie that's ever happened. And it's crazy how quickly it's all happened. I still remember growing up as a kid and there was only $1 billion movie, and it was Titanic, and that held for the longest time until I was about 16, 17, when Dead Man's Chest finally broke it. And now it just seems like every year we get at least 4 to 5 new movies breaking over a billion. Now we've got movies breaking over 2 billion. It is insane. It started to take a little bit of a dip now because of COVID, but Spider-Man No Way Home has brought us back into the fold with our first billion-dollar movie since 2019. So I thought in today's adventure we would break down every single movie that has gotten that cherished $1 billion, and I think the 4 movies now that have hit 2 billion, I'm ranking them all right here today, from my least favorite to my favorite. I'm not really gonna have totals for each one of these movies, because to sit here and figure out the fucking total of each movie and have it down as we go is very, sounds awful. I don't want to do any of that. If you want to know the totals of any of these movies, you can just easily look up the list on the internet. I'm simply just going to go movie by movie, and I'll designate which ones have hit 2 billion, because that's easy. There's only 4 of them, so I know that. But when you get into the nitty-gritty of one movie which hit 1.4 million and then another one which hit 1.42 million, I'm not designating that nonsense. So let's jump right into it, right? So the first movie to hit this list, which is easily my least favorite of the movies to make $1 billion. It blows my mind that this movie even made $1 million, but it just goes to show what goths can do if they really want to go see a movie. And that is the goth movie Alice in Wonderland. This movie pretty much kept Hot Topic open for like another 10 years. I hate this movie. This movie is just not good. It's terrible. I don't have anything kind to say about this movie, so we're not really going to say anything. It's a movie. It's made $1 billion. It's impressive. I don't know how it did it, but it did it. After that is another movie I can't stand, but at least I got a bitchin' steelbook out of it, and that is The Rise of Skywalker. We got Kylo Ren on the front there, Rey on the back. We'll open that bad boy up. Look at that. It's a solid steelbook for such a shitty movie. I mean, it's a Star Wars movie, the main movie, so you knew it was going to break $1 billion, but this movie is just fucking goddamn it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Next up, Minions. Another movie, just bad, just really bad. It was about this point where I think everybody collectively were like, please stop making Minions a thing. They were cute in the first one, and then ever since Despicable Me 1, it's not fun anymore. Please stop. Stop. But they're not, because I think The Rise of Gru comes out this summer. That was supposed to come out back in 2020, so keep on with the Minions, baby. Another bitchin' steelbook, but I was not a fan of the movie, the live-action Lion King. That's a really awesome steelbook right there, though. I will give it that. This movie. There's no reason for this movie to exist. It's literally just a shot-for-shot remake of the animated movie. And if I'm going to choose, I'm going to watch the animated movie. Clearly, like, I really wanted them to just make this serious and get rid of all the music. Don't have one fucking song in it, and just have it played straight. Like, it's literally just like a Shakespeare story with fucking talking lions. Like, that's what I wanted, and they didn't. They just went the easy route, and they just gave you the carbon fucking copy. Next up is Transformers Dark of the Moon. Yeah, it's a Transformers movie. It's entertaining. It kind of sucks at the same time, but you know, they're entertaining enough. I actually haven't seen this in a long time, so maybe it's time for a rewatch. See if it can place up any higher on this list, but I highly doubt it. I'm just itching right ahead of it. Despicable Me 3. The only reason I think this will land ahead of all those other movies for me is because this one has Trey Parker, and I fucking love Trey Parker, and I will always watch anything with Trey Parker in it. But I can't stand the fucking Minions. They're just like, they went from being cute to being very fucking annoying very quickly. And then the only other Transformers movie to break a billion, Age of Extinction. This one is just, God, this is probably Transformers at its worst, where it's so much excess. It's just too much. There's just so much fucking going on. It's 165 minutes. No Transformers movie should be 165 minutes. No. We got Frozen 2. It's fine. The music's catchy as shit. Music's probably the best part about this movie. But the lack of villain and it just a meandering story just doesn't do much for me. We got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The Velociraptor there, Indoraptor there. There's parts of this movie that are good. And there's a good movie in there somewhere, but it's just too all over the place. It's just blockbuster format at its worst. And it was bad. It was really bad. I'm not a big fan. I am excited for the next one. I'm hoping the next one can like bring it back from the depths. I'm not optimistic about it, but I'm hopeful. The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi scores this high mostly because I like, for the most part, everything that happens with Kylo Ren, Rey, and Luke Skywalker. All that storyline is fine to me. Everything else sucks. The stuff with Holdo and Poe on the ship is god awful. The stuff with freaking Finn and the other girl, I don't even remember her name, when they go to Candle Blight is fucking horrible. It's not great. It's just not great. The theme of Disney Star Wars. Disney's Aladdin, the live action Aladdin. This is another one. It's basically like a shopper. There's never a time in my life where I'll have both Aladdins next to me, this one and the animated, and I would be like, yeah, let's watch the live action. It's like, no, and that's, I think, the worst part about these live action movies is that they don't justify their existence, because when you put the two of them next to each other and they go, which Aladdin do you want to watch? I'm going to be like, is that even a fucking question? Put on the animated one now, you schmuck. But I mean, Will Smith is good. He has its moments. That's about the only good stuff I can say about that movie. Then we got Captain Marvel. It's fine. It's just such cookie cutter Marvel. It's such stock formula. And to be so late in the game to just pump out like stock formula, I just don't care as much anymore. Like Marvel needs to do new and interesting things to keep me invested. So like when you're pumping out Captain Marvels or Black Widows or Shang-Chi's, I don't care, because it's the same cookie cutter format. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm done with those. I don't want to see those anymore. That's phase one shit. Cut that shit out. And then following along, right along with this one's a little better, just because the acting performances I think are good in it, and I like the actors a lot. But it's also very cookie cutter Marvel, and I know a lot of people aren't gonna like that I said that, but Black Panther. It's a very stock Marvel movie. It's a good movie. It's a fine movie, but it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just cookie cutter Marvel. So I like a little extra oomph on my Marvel. And the finale with the CGI and everything is just fucking terrible. And Marvel, there's no excuses when you have the kind of money that Marvel and Disney do to be pulling off shit like that. Next is the 8th movie in the Fast and the Furious movies, Fate of the Furious. This has some entertaining enough stunts to warrant it up this high. But this is definitely the movie where I started to be like, fuck, man, this series is done. Like, please, no more Fast and the Furious movies, please. Like, this is, I think we're at our limit. And then Hobbs and Shaw came out after that, and I was like, fuck, I was so right. Like, these movies are terrible. And now Fast 9 came out, and it was like, that was bad. Please stop. Just stop. It's okay. Just stop making them. I know they print money, but like, for fuck's sake, just know when to stop beating the horse. Next up, Avengers Age of Ultron. I like this like red case that it's got with it. This one's fine enough. I really like the party scene at the beginning of this movie. Aces. I could watch a whole movie of that and I would be fine. They didn't even have to do anything else, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think we're getting to the point now where the rest of these movies, we're getting into the fine category of we've gotten out of the ones I think are crap, and now we're into the like eh, eh, eh. Speaking of it's fine, The Force Awakens. This is pretty much just a New Hope. It's just fucking New Hope over again. And it's fine. I mean, I think from the opening shot where Kylo Ren shows up on that desert planet of Jakku and attacks that guy is phenomenal. I love that whole scene until Poe starts talking and he's like, who talks first? Do I talk first? Do you talk to? Like, it just completely deflates the entire tension in the thing and ruins everything with how badass Kylo Ren was up until. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like the original Star Wars like was goofy at times and had like a guy like Han Solo that would like bust wise, but it never was at the sacrifice of your villains. And that really, I hated that. And then once they get off Jakku, it just falls apart to me where I'm just like, this is just fucking A New Hope. I don't care anymore. But of the Disney main movies, The Force Awakens was probably the best we were gonna get. But that's what happens when you go, hey, let's make a trilogy of new Star Wars movies, but we'll get a new director every time. Genius. Fucking idiots. Just kidding, Disney, I love you. I love you, Disney. Just not for Star Wars. Next up is Beauty and the Beast. It's, as far as live action remakes go, this seems like one of the more appropriate ones to do because like you can do it in its musical format because this tends itself to being a musical. So it definitely fit much better in that regard than The Lion King or the other one. I forget what the other one was already. Don't smoke weed, kids. But yeah, this movie's fine. Emma Watson's really good in it. All the actors are really top notch in it. Luke Evans, everybody, Ewan McGregor. It's solid. Then we got Pirates 4 on Stranger Tides. Even though this is, it's tough to figure out if 4 or 5 is my least favorite Pirates movie simply because I haven't seen 4. I watched 4 and 5 once in theaters and I've never watched them again since then. So I definitely have to go back and watch them. But I remember thinking that this one was just, it was okay. You know, I have a soft spot for the Pirates movies, and you're gonna see as this goes on, because there's definitely gonna be a later one that you guys are gonna be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But this is my list, baby. So obviously, shit's gonna be all over the place that you don't agree with, but shit happens. So I've always had a soft spot for the Pirates movies, but this one obviously way down to the list because it's still the fourth one. It definitely just feels like an afterthought and something that just doesn't feel needed at all. It still blows my mind that they were just like, let's make another Pirates movie, but let's not pay money to bring back Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? Elizabeth Swann is the goddamn pirate king. Like, why wouldn't you bring her back? I'd rather see her than fucking Jack Sparrow. Like, fuck off. Maybe we'll get a Pirate King movie with Elizabeth Swann one day. Probably not. After that, we got the first Frozen. This movie's fine. Again, yeah, the song's catchy as shit. It's not really, the story is leagues better than the second one, that's for sure. It's got its moments. It's fun. It's fine. We've got The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. I like 2/3 of this movie. Once they get to the goblin area and that goblin starts singing songs and shit, I was like, that fucking sucks. But it has its moments in there too, because Bilbo meeting fucking Schmeagol, whatever the fuck, Gollum. I don't know. I can't think tonight. I don't know what's going on with me. That whole scene where they do riddles is really cool too. I think Martin Freeman as Bilbo is just fucking fantastic. And I love when the hobbits sing Misty Mountains. Fucking great. Love it. Could watch that shit all day. And then we've got Spider-Man's second outing, Far From Home. This is another movie. It's solid. This is like dependable Marvel right there. It's another one. It's cookie cutter, but what knocks this one up a bit more is all the stuff with Mysterio. One, Jake Gyllenhaal just crush his ass all the time. That dude's the fucking man. But the way that they structure his scenes and when they're playing tricks on Spider-Man is very awesome visually, and it was very cool to see Mysterio done well that way. I liked it a fucking lot. All that stuff with Mysterio is fucking great. Oh, and then we've got right back into the Fast collection for Furious 7. That's probably the best Fast and the Furious is ever going to get with Furious 7, and that's literally just because they got the layup of pathos and emotionality from losing Paul Walker, which is a shame that that had to happen for them to reach that level, but I mean, they did the best of what they could. They did it very honorably. It came out as well as could be hoped, and that's probably the best that that franchise is ever going to get. Next up is Iron Man 3, Iron Man's Last Ride. This is a solid one simply because of Shane Black's writing. I really like Shane Black. He's the fucking man when it comes to action comedies. And all the subversions of like classic what you would expect from Marvel really worked for me. Like, I love that it's like he wasn't actually the Mandarin, he was just some like shithead actor. Like, that's fucking great to me. And listening to the Crybaby Marvel people be like, that's not the man, the rude was like, that was justification in and of itself. We got The Dark Knight Rises. Easily my least favorite of Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. It's not terrible. It's not nearly as bad as I once thought it was when I first saw it in theaters. I hated it. I fucking hated it. I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but it's definitely not as bad as I once thought it is. There's a lot of redeeming stuff in this. Christian Bale is great as always. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman is fucking fantastic. Everybody brings the A game. It's just the story is like very all over the place with fucking just holes left and right. And for a guy as good of a writer as Christopher Nolan, it felt not as up to par as it should have with him at the helm. After that, we gotta go to this beast of a box set for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Menace. I'm an unapologetic prequel lover. I will never apologize for loving the prequels. Those are the ones that I grew up in. As a kid, I was 11, I think, when Phantom Menace came out. And I love that shit. The freaking whole ending with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul. Fucking love it. I'm also one of the probably few supporters of Darth Vader's story from back then. Like, people love to bitch and moan about the fact that he was just some whiny little brat. And it was like, yeah, of course he is. Like, of course he was a whiny little brat. Like, that's how he was able to be manipulated into becoming, like, this badass fucking dude. Because he's a little bitch. But everyone's like, no, like, Darth Vader was the fucking man, so he needs to be the fucking man when he was younger, too. Like, he was just, like, but that would have been the most boring fucking story ever. Like, it was just young Darth Vader was a Jedi, and he was just like, I'm gonna wreck shit, and then I'm gonna be bad. And it's like, fuck that. It works perfectly that he is a whiny, fucking little petulant, pissant brat that is prone to emotional outbursts and can't control his emotions. Like, that just... Man, you could say a lot about George Lucas's dialogue, but that man had story down pat. Like, king. We'll put that down. Absolute king. Next up, The Joker. This is a really good movie. Very solid. Very solid. Definitely, I had to watch it again, further removed out from the hype of it coming out, because when I first saw it, I was just kind of like, that was it. But that was mostly because the hype surrounding it, with everyone being like, you can't go see it, there's gonna be violence, like, it's gonna make people do violent things, everyone's gonna be violent. So there was just so much nonsense media surrounding it that it was like, when you finally went and saw it, you were just like, yeah, that was just a movie. Like, that was no worse than any other, like, graphic movie I've seen before in my life. But then watching it like a year or two removed, it is like a very fucking just well-written movie. Joaquin Phoenix is just fantastic. He's a fucking fantastic actor. And this is a really good movie. Then we got Aquaman. I know some people are gonna be like, you put Aquaman out of the Joker, but I'm somebody who likes unapologetically cheesy shit sometimes, and this movie just hit all those beats perfectly. Like I knew this movie was my jam when he showed up to fight his half brother or brother or whoever the fuck it is, King Orwell, and there's just like an octopus like just banging on the drums. Like I was like, this movie knows what I want. Like so, I was just sold from the get go. Into the Land with the Boy Who Lived, for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first movie in the Harry Potter franchise. Um, it's good. It's a good movie. It's a little on the long side. They really tried to just cram fucking everything from that book into this movie. I think what makes it work is how good they did at getting child actors. But not only that, but getting Chris Columbus, a guy who is like a king of getting fucking good child actors, like and good performances out of them. Like that the Sorcerer's Stone is a movie that like on paper probably shouldn't fucking work. Like you're supposed to follow this journey of all these young fucking kids that are like 13, not even, I think it was like 12 or some shit, or like 13, and it was just like it shouldn't work, but it does, and it's really good, and all three of the main stars are like leagues better than they should be at that age. Like it's almost like it almost makes you angry at how good they are at that young of an age. You just be like, fuck man, like fucking kids just born fucking talented. Like it's nonsense. I can't fucking take it. But they did it. We've got the movie that really started to really bring this universe together. And that was the Avengers. I fucking love this first Avengers movie, even though fucking Josh Whedon is a piece of shit. Just everything really gels in this movie, and just it's just such a fun, adventurous, perfect summer blockbuster. I remember I saw it. It came out in May when I was graduating film school, and it was just like it's just a perfect movie. It was a perfect fucking afternoon to spend and watch this movie with my roommate who was in the directing class and I was in the screenwriting class. So like to just go watch it together and then just like spend like the next few hours at like a diner just dissecting it was just like so much fun. Like this movie is fan-fucking-tastic. And then we go back to Harry Potter for the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I believe it was the Part 2 that made $1 billion. I mean, it should be. If it was Part 1 and not Part 2, that'd be really fucking weird. Oh yeah, the first movie hits $1 billion and the last movie hits $1 billion. Talk about symmetry right there. That last one is really fucking good. And it's one of the few movies where like it felt worthy enough to split it, that last movie, into two parts, simply because everything that happens at the Battle of Hogwarts is just so fucking important and detrimental to the story that it needed to like really be fleshed out. And also I fucking love battles, so the fact that this movie, like pretty much the whole last part is just like a battle is freaking phenomenal. Everyone in it's great. Alan Rickman, God, fucking the man. It just fires on all cylinders. A really great fucking movie. And then we got Jurassic World. This is another movie that really shouldn't work. I mean, it kind of follows The Force Awakens in that this is really just Jurassic Park, but with the park having been opened first. But I mean, as far as it goes, it's a very entertaining fucking movie. Everybody is really good in it. Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt. I mean, the kids you can kind of do without. They're like very much a retreat of the first one. The fucking what's his name? The Indian actor, I can't think of his name, fuck, but he's really good. But he's just playing John Hammond in this movie. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that's like, it's very much just a retreat of Jurassic Park, but I think it works better in this one than Force Awakens did. Simply because with this one, like, it makes sense that like human beings like 20 or 30 years later would have learned nothing and been like, hey, let's actually open the park. Like, I think that might be a good fucking idea. So it works. It's fucking entertaining. I could also give it to it just for that scene where like that woman who like just simply had to watch the kids all day just gets brutally murdered by like 3 dinosaurs. Like that alone is fantastic. And then we got Rogue One. I think this is my favorite of the Disney Star Wars movies. I'm trying to like look down here and see like offhand if there's any more of them, but I don't think there are. Yeah, this is easily the best that Disney Star Wars has put out movie-wise. It's a fantastic movie. So much fun, very adventurous. I love all of the Easter eggs to Rebels that is crammed into this movie. I love that shit. And then the whole ending in Scarif is just, it's fantastic. It's great. It's everything you want from Star Wars. It's just freaking great. And I now realize as we've gotten this late into it that I totally just haven't been paying attention to if we've passed any of the 2 billion movies, because we have, because Force Awakens was one of them. So as you notice, I'm terrible at keeping track of my own shit. But so far we've passed one movie that has crossed 2 billion, and that was The Force Awakens. A movie, when I was going through this list, that I was shocked to even see that it hit 1 billion, but just goes to show how fucking great Disney is Zootopia. I fucking love this movie. This movie is so much fun. It's a great allegory. It's just such a great movie. Like, it's just, Disney was firing on all cylinders around this time when this movie came out. I think it was like 2016, 2017. But they were just pumping out hit after hit. Like, just inspired. Freaking fantastic movie. Fantastic movie, fantastic steelbook right there. I'll drop that one down there. Other great one, Incredibles 2. Pixar, belting out the hits. The thing with Screen Slaver, or Saver, whatever the hell he went by in that one, and Elastigirl isn't as great, but everything with Mr. Incredible taking care of his kids is fantastic. I could watch that shit over and over again. In fact, I did. When this first came out on to Disney Plus and on Blu-ray and everything, I probably was falling asleep to it like every fucking night because I just fucking loved it. And now talking about it, I think I'm gonna do it tonight. Oh. Another one, we got Finding Dory. It's another great steelbook. Look at that. Love it. There's another one I was surprised to see this also hit 1 billion, but I mean, like, at that point, Pixar, like, they could do no fucking wrong. This was really good. It's a really good sequel. For a movie that didn't ever really need a sequel, this is as good as I think they could ever fucking get. Bridging the backstory for Dory, and it's very inventive, very clever, a lot of fun, and just the fucking ending where they're just like driving the truck is like fucking hilarious to me too. Like, Pixar are just they're just fucking great. We got Toy Story 4. I know a lot of people did not like this movie. I am not one of those people. I love this movie. I think this is a perfect culmination of Woody's journey. I think people that don't like it, I don't want to say it's misplaced, because obviously, like, everyone's opinions are their own and you can't really tell somebody how they can feel from something. But from what I've gotten from this movie, especially when you look at the context of Woody's journey, I know it seems like a betrayal of his character that he would leave his friends when you've seen 3 movies of how much he would go through for his friends. And all of that is true. All of that is absolutely true. But if there's one thing that we saw throughout all of those that also bridged it, it's that Woody is a leader. And this is a man who takes point. He takes control. He is the leader. He doesn't know how to be anything else but that, but to help wayward toys. So as much as he loves his friends and as much as he wants to be there, there's a point where he has to learn in this movie, like we as adults have to learn, you're not always going to be there with your friends. Your friends aren't always going to be your ride or dies right next to you. You may go days, you may go weeks, you may go months. And that's something you have to learn when you get older. It's definitely something I've learned as I've gotten older. I love my friends. I try to see my friends as much as possible, but sometimes you go weeks, you go months sometimes where you don't get to see each other. Like, life just gets in the way of you going out and being who you are. It doesn't always align with each other. And that's kind of where this movie comes in. Woody is not the leader in whatever her name, the fucking girl that he's living with now. He can't sit on the back burner. That's not who Woody is. So when he gets roped into this thing where he can now go into this path that will let him be who he is, not just to these toys, but to the world, that is something that him as an intrinsic person has to follow along with. And I think this movie does it well. It does it amazing. And that's another thing that Buzz is there for him. He tells him, man, he's like, look, I know we'll miss you, man, but we're going to be okay. Like, you made sure that we're going to be okay. You have to do for other toys what you did for us. You have to go be the Woody that we know you can be. That's a beautiful thing. That's what I got from this movie. I feel like a lot of people weren't on board with the fact that Woody would be like that, or like they felt like he should always be with his toys. But I mean, I get it. I understand. But it's a point of life that we have to deal with. Listen for me for my Toy Story deep dives. If you want to see a deep dive into Toy Story 4, I'll do it. I'll go all about fucking Woody's character. A deep dive, complex progression of who Woody is as a person. This is what I stay up late at night thinking about when I get high. It's just fucking Woody, man. Civil War is next. This is a really good movie. Remember I talked about how Marvel movies need to do different shit? This is what I'm talking about. This is fucking great. Bringing everybody in together. The thing I love the most about this movie is that there's no big fucking villain. It's just Zemo manipulating the shit out of these guys, and it is great. And it culminates in these three people who have just fractured, and they just come to blows against it. Iron Man versus Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and it's just this is top-notch writing right here. I love this. This is the goods right here. And then we have Avatar. We are now at our second movie that has grossed over $2 billion. And in fact, as of right now, there is yet to be another Endgame re-release. So for right now, Avatar is the highest grossing movie of all time. I think close to 3 billion too. I think it was at like 2.7 something. It's like insane how many people went and saw this movie. I fucking love this movie. I argue with people all the time on people that hate it, which I never understand. But again, I've done it in past videos. You can complain all the live long day that it's derivative, but you'll sit and watch 28 Marvel movies that are all the same fucking movie, but Avatar is bad because it's Dances with Wolves in space. Get out of town. Get out of town. This is a great fucking movie. James Cameron, man, you can't count James Cameron out, man. He just creates universal themes, and he's just a fucking sci-fi master. And I can't wait to see what he does with later Avatar movies. It's going to be a very interesting year if Avatar 2 does come out in December. I'm very excited for that. I don't have a disc for it because our next movie is the newest entrant into the $1 billion club, and that is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Marvel, I tell you, when you do different and interesting shit, I'm here for it, man. And this was probably the most interesting and inventive and clever thing you can do, and that was bridge all of the Spider-Mans together into this one huge Spider-Man universe. It was fucking great. It takes a little bit to get going. The beginning of the movie is a little slow. You could probably chop off like the first like 10, 15 minutes of that movie and not lose anything. But once it gets going, when Doc Ock and all them show up, it is just fucking floor to the wall, floor to the wall. Oh, I need to go to bed. It is balls to the wall and just excitement. It's fun. It's adventurous. It is a great summer blockbuster that came out during Christmas time. It's Toby's great, Andrew's great, Tom is great, Willem Dafoe is great, Alfred Molina is great. Everybody is just bringing the heat to make this one of the funnest movies around. And it's a great and worthy entrant into the $1 billion club. Next up is the only James Bond movie to hit $1 billion, and that is Skyfall. It's a great fucking movie. It's not my favorite of the Daniel Craig movies, but it is really freaking good. A lot of fun. Daniel Craig really settling into the role. He's just fucking fantastic. Gonna be sorely missed. All of his movies have been, like, even though Quantum of Solace is not that great, he's always like just attained a level of just stellar fucking performances in him. He's a mensch. That's right, I said a mensch. Next up, we got Avengers Infinity War. This movie is fucking great. It's a movie that should not work, that does work. It is insane the amount of groundwork that it was laid to get to this point, but it is incredible. Just look at it. Look at everybody on there. There's like fucking like 50 characters, and somehow everyone gets a chance to like shine. I think the best thing that this movie does is that our main character is the villain, and that's a fucking such an interesting and incredible concept. I love it. I love it that really the main character is Thanos, and he is the one who gets the arc in this movie. It's great. It's definitely one of the best that the MCU have ever put out, and I don't think they'll ever top it. Well, one movie tops it, but like they kind of go hand in hand, which is obviously next, which is Endgame. They're kind of like the two halves of one movie. And it's something that will never be replicated. I feel like it'd never be duplicated. I can't see how they could top it. I can't see how any other franchise or any other movie can top what was done with this. This movie is great. Look at this fucking steelbook. It's got everybody on it. It's fucking phenomenal. The ending of this movie is insane. The whole movie, the fact that time travel, they introduce time travel, they go back in time, they fuck with some shit, they go wild, they do all this crazy shit. This movie is an absolute fucking blast. Like, this is just perfect blockbuster filmmaking, and it was an incredible treat to see on the big screen. it was an incredible treat to be working too. I run a movie theater, so I constantly, when these movies get to come out, can sneak into the back of theaters and watch all the nerds go ape shit and wet dreamy during movies. I hate when people clap and do all that shit during movies. So just shut the fuck up and watch the movie. But there is some pure joy especially during Infinity War, to like sit in the back of the theater and listen to them all start crying, like when SpiderMan and everyone just started like flittering away into dust. So those are some joyous moments. When I'm sitting in the theater and watching a movie, I don't want to fucking hear a sound. I don't want to hear anything. But working, it's fun to pop in and like listen to those reactions. Next up is Return of the King. I was very surprised to find out that only Return of the King made $1 billion of the Lord of the Rings movies, because all three of them are incredible. So what the fuck was going on? It's amazing. This movie's fucking incredible. What can be said about the Lord of the Rings movies that hasn't already been said? Return of the King is probably my least favorite of the three. Which is weird that like the finale would be my least favorite. That's probably because like when they bring in the fucking ghost army, I'm like, come on, fucking ridiculous. But I love there's so much good stuff in this movie. Everything with the Sam and Frodo is great. The big ass spider is fucking that whole. When I saw that in theaters when I was a kid, I was like, scared the shit out of me. It's just everything is fucking great. All the actors are amazing. The sets are amazing. Everything is incredible about this movie. I fucking love it. And then we have Toy Story 3. It's perfect. This movie is absolutely perfect. And what I think I've loved about the Toy Story movies the most is that they've aged with me. So when the first movie came out, it was 1995. I was probably like 6 years old. When the second movie came out, I think it was 1999. So I was 10. I don't know if that tracks. I was born in 89. So 99 tracks then. So when this one came out, it was 2010. So I was 20 years old. I had just come into college. And this movie is all about learning how to let go of your childhood in a sense and move on to the next stage of your life. So this movie, when it came out, it just fucking gutted me, man. Like the fact that the Toy Story movies have aged with me and every single one has spoke to me in the part of my life that I'm in it's a testament to how fucking good Pixar are and how like knowledgeable they are of the times that they're releasing these and their audience. These movies are absolutely incredible. Like I would tell them, like, yeah, it's a kids movie, like it's a kids movie, but this is a movie for adults. The thematic elements in this movie are for you. This is fucking perfect. This movie is perfect. I cry every fucking time in this movie. It's so good, so good. Wait. Oh, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, right? 1, 2, 3. Oh, we got 4. So Toy Story was the top 5. And Avengers Endgame was the other 2 billion movies. We've had 2 billion movies. Avengers Endgame, The Force Awakens, and Avatar. There is one more left. And I think you can probably guess what it is, but we'll get there because it's not this next one. The next one is The Dark Knight. Fucking amazing. This is the best superhero movie that's ever been made. And it's mostly due to the fact that it's not a superhero movie to me. It's mostly just a gritty, you need to go to bed, bro. You need to stop this. It's a gritty crime thriller that just happens to have a dude who dresses up as a bat and a creepy clown that just is fucking psychopathic murderer. This movie is absolutely perfect. There's not a fucking frame or a piece of dialogue that I would change in this movie. It is incredible. Heath Ledger's performance is unreal. Everybody in this movie is just bringing the A game. This is one of the best written Christopher Nolan movies. It floors me every time I watch it. I fucking love this movie. I saw it like 3 or 4 times in theaters. I think I saw it like twice in one night. We went and saw it at fucking the movies were selling so much that they put on a 3:45 in the morning, and we went to it 3:45 in the fucking morning. I think I made it we made it through the entire movie. Like that's how good this fucking movie is, that it could be 3:45 in the morning and this 2.5-hour movie still kept my attention the entire time. And then we didn't even go to bed. We went right to the beach and we just hung out on the beach all day drinking. And then we went and saw it again at like 6, 7 o'clock at night. And again, we stayed up the entire time and made it through. By the time I finally went to sleep, I was just like, I just am the Dark Knight. This movie's fucking incredible. One of the best movies of all time, Jurassic Park. I really don't like that in this 5-movie collection it's Jurassic World on the cover. Like, it's a little disrespectful to the king, which is Jurassic Park. That is the beast. That is the OG, the fucking king. That movie is absolutely incredible. Steven Spielberg, an absolute fucking king. Like, what can be said about Jurassic Park that hasn't been said a million times? It's the GOAT. It's fucking just, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Oh, and then we are now at our final $2 billion grossing movie, and it's James Cameron's Titanic. And it is my second favorite of all these 48 movies that have grossed over $1 billion. I fucking love this movie. I've always loved this movie. I've never hidden my fact of my love for this movie. Even back when I was a kid and it was not the manly thing to like Titanic, I did not give a shit. Me and my friend Ryan watched this movie all the time. We would come home from school, like I'd just go to hang out at his house, and there was like a week straight where it'd be on like right at like 2:45, like when we get out of school, and we'd just put it on and we would just be bullshitting with it on in the background, and we watched it every day because like that's how much we fucking love this movie. That's how fucking good it is. It's great. This movie is life. I can watch this movie anytime it's on. I don't care how long it is. It goes by like that. Anytime somebody's like, yo, Titanic, I'm like, fuck it, baby, put it on right now, let's go. And now we're at our number one. This is a movie that nobody, I think, will agree with me for being number one here, and I'm okay with that. It's a movie that speaks to me for my own reasons. I get it that for other people, probably Endgame would be their number one, or Titanic, or Jurassic Park, or whatever have you. All those fair choices, man. Whatever floats your boat, whatever fits your pleasure is what's number one for you. My pleasure is only the, I think, third movie to hit $1 billion, and that is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Remember when I said before that people were probably not gonna like the positioning of the other Pirates movie? Of all the 48 movies you've seen so far, this one is my favorite. I love this movie. This movie just speaks to me. There's just something about this movie that is just perfect. It's thrilling, it's bombastic, it's the perfect action adventure movie. It was the perfect summer blockbuster. This came out in 2006 in the summer. I was 16 years old, and I still remember seeing it. My girlfriend at the time woke me up at like 10 a.m. so that we can go see the first showing of the day, and I was just blown away by it. I fucking loved it. I was so happy. I enjoyed it so much that I told her that I couldn't go to her friend's house afterwards because I had to go help my dad with something, just so that I can go watch it again with my friends right after that. That's how much I enjoyed this movie. I saw it like 4, 5, 6 times in theaters. I just enjoy the fucking hell out of this movie. I think it is very well written. I know a lot of people constantly complain that saying that it's convoluted and it's a hard to follow plot, when it really isn't. I don't think it's that hard of a plot to follow if you're paying attention. What I think leads people to think that in a way at times is the fact that it's character driven and not so much plot driven. Like, yeah, there is plot in there, but a lot of it is pushed by Jack Sparrow being Jack Sparrow, Will Turner trying to be like Jack Sparrow to force what he gets to do, and Elizabeth Swann going off on her own adventure to not wait for any man to come and save her. And all of these formulas of these three characters pushing the plot along is what drives us along. And since Jack Sparrow is such a enigmatic type of person, I think it leaves people feeling like the plot is convoluted because you're constantly in the dark of what he's thinking. So I think that's what possibly could lead some people. Some people might just not like it. Some people might just think it sucks. And that's fair. Let's teach their own. But for some, I think that might be one of the factors. But I just love the fact that this movie builds these three characters up to one of the most epic fucking sword fights put to film. Like, Jack Sparrow just wanting to settle his debt so that he doesn't have to be shanghaied into Davy Jones's locker. Will Turner wanting to free Elizabeth so that him and her can finally be together and they can get married and live their life together, and also so that he can stab the heart and save his father from being shanghaied into this service that he's been into for so long, to the point that he can barely even remember who he is. And then Norrington, who comes back into the fold, who's just looking to regain his honor, even realizing though that by what he's doing is sacrificing the very honor from which he's been sworn to uphold. It's great fucking stuff. It's just great fucking stuff right there. I love this movie. I can gush about this movie all fucking day. I can go scene by scene and gush about this fucking movie all fucking day. But I won't do that to you. Obviously, you're like, TJ, you have talked way too much about Pirates of the Caribbean already. And that's fair. But Pirates is my favorite of these 48 movies that have grossed $1 billion. It is crazy to think that the first one was Titanic in 1997. So now we're 2007, 2017, that in just over 20 years, we've had almost 50 movies that have grossed staggering amounts of money. It's crazy. It's a lot of the movies, it's franchise movies. It's very bombastic, action-driven, superhero movies. But they're all, everything in there, pretty great. There really was only like at the bottom, like 5 or 6 maybe, that I would be like, those movies suck. All the other ones, though, been fucking great. Just great stuff. I like it a lot. But that's my list. I won't keep you any longer than I have. I know you've been here for a while. You're like, my God, this man can talk about movies for fucking hours. I know. Just what I do. It's what I like. I'll continue to do it. But until next time, we'll rock some more things in the future. We'll hit some more ranking lists. We'll find out some more stuff that I can talk about movie-wise. If you want to hear about Pirates of the Caribbean more, you let me know. I will fucking talk about it. If you want to hear about that deep dive into Woody's complex character development, you fucking tell me about it. I'll fucking do it, man. I will talk forever about that shit. But until that day, you have been you. I have been me. These have been movies. And until next time, adventure on. Now go. Get out of here. Fly. Get out of here. Fuck off.